latest on X. Kayode takes it from here. Kayode.
Yeah, let's start right with a video that trended last year. I think it was August, about a legal practitioner who raised the alarm that clerks in a certain magistrate court were trying to get, well, was it 20,000 naira before they process bail. And that video really trended. But guess what? A decision has now been made. But just to refresh your memory, here's that video. And this is where the lawyer was raising the concern last year. It was in August. Take a listen. Okay, we'll show you that video, but let's show you the statement now that has been released to that effect. And we understand that this might be a victory, at least for the judiciary in that sense. So we can tell you now that the Anambra state government has released a statement saying that the chief magistrate who presided over that court has been suspended from duty for 3 months without pay, and that's effective January the 31st this year, having been found liable for a case of misconduct. And guess what? The clerk as well was also suspended from duty for 3 months without pay, effective from the same date. So it's at least cheery for a lot of people to see that this case was not just swept under the carpet, that there's now been some sort of closure to that. So kudos to the Judicial Service Commission, chaired by Justice Anya Chibule, that's the Chief Judge of Anambra State, for making that decision on that. But let's move on to yet another matter now. And this is from the EFCC. The spokesperson of the EFCC at a gathering recently talked about the breaking into houses that Nigerians have complained about, at least from the EFCC. But guess what he said? Mr. Oyewale said, in his words, most times those breaking into houses are not EFCC officials. So take a listen to some part of what he said.
Our own way, it's a carrot and stick thing. We have our own way of dealing with that. Okay. And don't forget that it is not all of these cases where you have people breaking in and, you know, all of this, most times they are not EFCC officers. I am telling you. I have had calls severally to say that some of these kids that you see online, you see people wearing happy car, wearing all these funny things. No, that's not EFCC. I'm telling you. But people do that to discredit us, and we have been shouting and shouting and shouting, I can't recollect how many press statements I have written to say that all of these people, they are not from us. Now, if someone comes and he says, oh, I am from the EFCC, ask him to establish his identity. This is a country where people don't interrogate. They don't.
You cannot tell somebody with power to identify him or herself.
You can do that.
Sir, when you have
You can tell from the reaction of the crowd here that clearly a lot of those things didn't sit well with them. And I imagine for you too, you're thinking, yes, we may have had some of those cases, but it would be good to see the EFCC disclaim those cases, because for the ones we've seen, there are some of them entering a room where there's a lady slapping a lady. Those were EFCC officials. Some others too, they were EFCC officials. So, dear Mr. Oyewale, for those that you say are not EFCC officials, disclaim them on this same level, either on your X platform or whatever. Send it to us. We're happy to show the world. So please absolutely disclaim those ones that are not true. But let's move on now. This was a very interesting scene yesterday in Edo State. It was the... Oh, by the way, that's a video of the legal practitioner that trended last year, August, from Anambra State, saying that the clerk, Anambra State, the clerk was seeking bribe. So that's the video that trended in August, and the decision has been made. All right, just to refresh your memory. But let's move on to something that played out in Edo State now. TuFace, Baba, made an appearance, not on stage, not for music, but at the Edo State House of Assembly. And a lot of naturally were wondering what is going on. So let's allow you to just take a listen to the commotion that played out yesterday. Slight commotion, that is.
So guys, TuFace. TuFace Jibia. TuFace. So guys, TuFace just entered the House of Assembly, and he has caused commotion everywhere. TuFace in the Edo State House of Assembly right now. TuFace Idibia is in Edo Assembly.
That's what played out. Let's get some things clear. Members of the public, journalists, and the rest can witness plenary, okay? You can sit at the gallery and witness plenary. So for those who are asking, last we checked, TuFace is from Benue State 1. He's not elected member of the Edo Assembly. You're able to, just witness plenary naturally. That's why we have the gallery. Now, what he was doing there is another case entirely. I am not able to confirm or deny why TuFace was at the Edo State House of Assembly, but that's what really played out. I know there's been a lot of talk about his relationship with Annie and all of the other issues, but what we can report is that, yes, he was indeed there, and there was some sort of commotion, as you would expect. But let's move on now and go over to the courts. There was this very heated exchange between the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu, and Justice Binta Murtala Yako. So just take a listen to some of the things Nnamdi Kanu said yesterday.
Why is it when it comes to my case, they turn the law upside down? They turn the law upside down. Upside down. Upside down. This is the laws of Nigeria. The prosecution and this court doesn't know the law. That is the fact. Yes. Poor knowledge of the law is killing Nigeria. Poor knowledge of the law, they don't know the law. This is a federal gazetted law of Nigeria that says here that the chief judge of Nigeria cannot tell Binta Nyako what to do. It's here. It's your law. Just obey it. That is why I do what I do. I agitate for Biafra. I agitate for Biafra, my right to agitate. My right. They turned it from treasonable felony now to terrorism. Stop talking when I'm talking.
Well, he had to straighten one of his legal representatives not to talk while he's talking. And very interesting scenes there, really, from the court. There's been a lot of back and forth, saying the judge is biased and is not competent to sit on the case, and the judge saying, okay, fine, I don't want to sit on it. But then the case returns to the justice, and I think there's meant to be a procedure to that. But it's a lot, really. But let's see what you're saying. First off is Robert De Leon on X, speaking about this one, saying another case delayed indefinitely. And this user believes that justice delayed is justice denied, especially in sensitive matters like this one. This has been a long, winding case, really. There was a time of whether he was discharged and acquitted or not. That's, by the way, from the previous government of Muhammadu Buhari. So this government inherited that case and is proceeding with it. Sadiq Abdul says, personally, and that's the next user, Sadiq Abdul says, personally, I feel he is worsening his case, so making his case worse, and creating more problems for himself. But this user ends by saying, but he knows what he's doing. Well, let's take one more comment from this one, and it's from Oni Uyi Ekete, who says, again, as a lawyer, I am equally struggling to understand why Justice Nyako, who previously recused herself from the matter, will once again preside over the matter. It is anomalous. It suggests that her assignment to the matter has premeditated intentions. I think what was said was there's a procedure to that. And it's always interesting what plays out in court. It's different from what some will say is common sense. There are procedures to these things. And that's why we saw all of that play out. But this is a case we're following. But we have to leave the trends for now. You can be a part of this hashtag CTV Morning Brief, or you send a message to the WhatsApp number you see on your screen during the show. We'll take a moment now And when we return, we'll talk about the all-important conversation of electricity, particularly for the underserved and rural areas. What is going on with the Rural Electrification Agency? That's in a few seconds, so stay with us.